The scary thing about narcissists that everyone needs to know. So maybe you are coming to this video because you're feeling a little unsure. Maybe you're feeling some self-doubt. Maybe you're feeling sick. Maybe you're feeling flu-like symptoms, lethargic. Maybe you're breaking out all over the place and you normally have great skin and you're like, why do I feel awful? Maybe it's because you're being emotionally abused. Hello and welcome. I'm Leah, if you've never been here before. And if you have been here before, I am Stacy. Just kidding. That doesn't even make sense. I am still Leah. And this channel is turning into a bit of a narcissist channel. I know. Why? Because it's important. Because it's an epidemic. It's hurting so many people. It's causing sickness. Maybe you've come to this video because you've been experiencing narcissistic abuse. And so you want to know what is going on. Or maybe you don't even know why I'm talking about narcissists. Well, here's the thing, because I've gone through a lot of research on this. I've been studying this now for 20 plus years because unfortunately I've been a target and a victim of it, but I don't believe in victimhood. So I believe in an abundant universe where you can create a new paradigm. So even though these old patterns might have had you stuck for a long time, I promise you with awareness, there is a way out. And it gets shorter and shorter, the stint with these type of people, because your awareness grows and grows. Or they begin to show themselves and you know, so you see the signs. I've also been doing a shorts series, 50 signs you might be dating a narcissist. So you might want to check that out if you haven't, or share it with somebody that you love, because knowledge truly is power. So maybe you've been a victim of narcissistic abuse. And for that, I can relate. And it is not fun. It's not pleasant. And it can destroy you. It really can. It's an emergency. We got to talk about this. The scary thing about narcissists that everyone needs to know is that they are predominant in a lot of places. They're predominant statistically on all the dating sites. They're predominant statistically on all of social media. They are predominantly the most successful people in the world as well. I was watching a video that Dr. Ramani did a year ago on narcissism with Med Circle, and she was asked, can you be truly successful without being a narcissist? Because she said most people in the world who are narcissistic are really successful, who are narcissists, actually, not narcissistic, who are actually narcissists. So the question was posed to her, well, can you be successful without being a narcissist? And her answer was, I'm not so sure. I'm manifesting an opportunity to sit down and talk to Dr. Ramani, and I would challenge her to that point, even though I really agree with really everything she says. And she's, she has actually studied this as a doctor, so she knows. But what I'd argue with her is, yes, you can be successful and not be a narcissist, Dr. Ramani, because you are. And there are lovely people in the world who are very successful and not narcissists. Thank God. Thank God. But the scary thing about narcissists that everyone needs to know, watch to the end so that you can be terrified. No, so that you can have knowledge, because knowledge truly is power, so that you don't get sick if you're not sick. And if you are, so you don't get sicker. You can't afford that. Ain't nobody got time for that, right? Okay. The scary thing about narcissists that I was posing about the Dr. Ramani thing is that they're everywhere. They're some of the most successful people in the world. And so not only is this an epidemic, if you want to call it that, because it is spreading disease, anxiety, PTSD, cancer, flu. I mean, the list goes on and on. Dr. Ramani also did a video just yesterday. Who knows when you're going to watch this, but she just did it in my time of life yesterday, whatever that means to you. And it was sicknesses with being around narcissistic abuse. So if you've been a victim of narcissistic abuse, the research shows you definitely can have been feeling sick. Can have been feeling sick, and you get your speech impaired. That's what happens. Take 115. I'm just kidding. So you also can experience brain fog, which my students know I've never experienced that. Right, guys? Right? Can I get something? No? Okay. Whatever. Brain fog, insomnia, migraines, cancer. Jealous yet? If you haven't experienced emotional abuse, you too can have these side effects if you just sign up to be around a narcissist. So that's the scary thing, is that it literally can cause all of these things. Now, narcissists, of course, will scoff at that and be like, oh, come on. They scoff at everything, though. That's another scary thing about them. They'll make you feel bad for having cancer. It'll be an inconvenience to them. If you have a partner and you're sick and they're a narcissist, it's going to be a major inconvenience to them. Mental Heal This, another channel that I like to peruse, and he's a narcissist. He says he's a self-aware narcissist, okay? So it's a little like, touche, narcissist. Now we're taking advice on narcissism from narcissists. It's a tricky one, right? Because we know they lie, and we know that they gaslight, and we know they do all these things. But I do appreciate that he's trying to use his powers for good instead of evil, because he flat out says, like, it's awful. It's terrible to be with a narcissist. Ask my wife. That's what he says. Cluster B Milkshake is another one. You can check her out. She says the same thing. She says, if you can, just stay away. So the scary thing is, and they both say this, they're both self-aware narcissists, and they both say, just stay away. Just stay away from narcissists. We're no good, right? But then it's interesting because they're narcissists, so they also say some of the narcissisty things, right? So you got to be able to sift through some of this stuff. So Cluster B Milkshake was saying, oh, I hate how empaths, think that they're these winged creatures, and empaths aren't even a thing. Empaths are just somebody who's too sensitive and, whatever. Like, you think you're this winged, like a light and love character. And if you think that, then you're the narcissist. Ha ha! And that's what she says, right? Of course, this word empath has been tossed around so much. It does become ridiculous after a while. And so does the word narcissist. Because that's the other thing. I love these people who attack me that are like, everybody who's ever turned you down is not a narcissist. Just because yo, SHIT don't stink, or does stink, or whatever, you think it doesn't stink, or whatever they say. They're like, they just come at you with all this stuff. Uh-oh, my mic just came off, but I'm still rolling with it, so hopefully that wasn't like cray-cray sound. There's some channels who hate single women, such as myself, right? They hate us because they go, and some of them I think are total narcissists, 1,000%. I can't say all of them are, because that's a sweeping generalization, but some of them that I checked out have been. And I'm not even going to say their channels, because I don't think they even deserve that kind of credibility, to be honest with you, because they are just absolutely downright rude. And the rhetoric that they're putting out there is just, I think, dangerous and not good. But what they say is like, any single woman of my age, 510, had her chance, and she's just washed up, and she used up all the good men, and that's why she deserves a life of misery and hell, burning hell, lady. And I'm like, whoa, take it easy. They always love to say, people like me passed up all the nice guys, and so this is what you deserve. I'm going to tell you something about me, okay? I haven't passed up all the nice guys. I've actually gone for some really nice guys. I've even gone for the underdog. I've gone for all different types, the nerdy type, the super good looking type, the quirky type. Yeah, I've dated a lot. Okay, I told you I'm 510, all right? I've had long-term monogamous relationships. I've almost been married. They come in all different disguises. They're not all like Mr. Suave, like good looking, whatever. Some of them are not good looking at all. Some of them are not super rich. Some of them are, there's a million different types. There's a million different types of people. So I've tried to go for the quirky guy, the underdog. He ended up being a narcissist. I ended up trying to go for the super nice guy who was very reserved, and we took the relationship super slow to the point that we were like brother and sister. I mean, you can't cut and dry say, oh, because you're single, you've just screwed up and so now you deserve emotional abuse. That is ridiculous. And the scary thing about narcissists, they will try to convince you that this is the only way. You have to deal with emotional abuse. If you want to be with somebody, you have to deal with emotional abuse. Otherwise, you are a bitch or a whatever other word, right? That's what they want you to believe, like quite literally. And I'm telling you, that is not the only way at all. I'm telling you right now, it is so much better to be on your own than to be sick, have cancer, insomnia, migraines. Staying with a person like this will deplete you 1,000%. I was reading a story about somebody in the workplace, and they said they almost died because of the narcissistic abuse in their workplace from a boss. This can happen everywhere. Their therapist finally said, you have to quit. And it was so hard because the gaslighting and everything was so big on this person that she felt like she was the problem. You go deep into research, self-reflection, maybe yoga, meditation, finding videos like this, therapy. That's what I've done for 23 plus years. So when people come at me and they're like, well, you're the narcissist, I'm like, it doesn't bother me because I have talked to so many therapists and I'm not the narcissist. They're the ones who brought this to my attention. That's why I'm talking about this. I didn't come up with all this. I didn't even know what narcissistic abuse was until I had started with a therapist who told me what was going on. I didn't know half the people I was dating were narcissists until I talked to a therapist. So this isn't just like I'm pulling things out of the air. This is also not to diagnose somebody, right? So that's the other thing I see a lot. Like Cluster B Milkshake and different people are like, you shouldn't, be diagnosing. And if you think you're so higher than above, I'm not making fun of her, by the way, and she didn't talk to me specifically, but just she's talking to the winged empath people, right? That if you're labeling people as this, then you're the narcissist because you're not holier than thou. You're not perfect. That's where they get you. That's where they get you. Because then, as somebody who is caring and empathetic, you go, you're right. I'm not perfect. I know that about myself. Oh my gosh, I have so many flaws. Are you kidding me? I know that about myself, right? And so then you go into a bash dive. Oh, I'm awful, and this is as good as I can get, and I should be so lucky to be treated this awful. Don't do that. Narcissistic personality disorder is a disorder. It is a series, it's a collection of personality traits. So no, you're not trying to be a doctor. You're not diagnosing by giving out medication and stuff. What you're doing is noticing personality traits and going, oh, this person has all these personality traits. maybe I don't want all these side effects. That's it. If you look at something like a certain drug or something, and you look at all the side effects and you're like, oh, I don't want that, then they're like, well, then you're just anti every kind of medication. It's like, no, I just don't want that. And I'm allowed to not want that. The scary thing about narcissists that everyone needs to know is they're always going to gaslight you into thinking there's no problem, into thinking the problem is you, into thinking that you should want all those side effects. And for you to notice any of these personality traits makes you a narcissist. And for you to stand up for yourself makes yourself the narcissist, and all this stuff. That is very, very scary. What? Like, you can't even do math, and your makeup's stupid, and no wonder why you're single, because nobody wants you. LOL. You're so stupid. I love that. You're so stupid. YOUR. Okay, so what you need to really know, the scary thing about narcissists that everyone needs to know, is that this is a disorder. They are disordered, period. You have to recognize what something is. Okay? So if I had a scorpion right here, it could be beautiful, right? It came from the universe. It's whatever you believe in. It's like this amazing creature, right? It's fascinating. It'll still sting you, no matter how fascinated you are with it, no matter how much you want to reason with it, no matter how much you want to snuggle with it, no matter how much everybody else says that it's wonderful. It's still a scorpion. It's still a scorpion. It still will sting you. It's just a matter of time. Not only will you begin to get really sick if you spend a lot of time with this person, if you're dating this person, if you work for this person, but your personality will begin to change. Now, I will give you a tactic right now on one of these, which can help you to cope with being with a narcissist if you absolutely have to. Say you're co-parenting and you're like, Leah, I can't just walk away. This is the father of my child. This is the mother of my child. I have to see them. I have to communicate with them. Court orders, 50-50. I get that. And that's tough. I mean, I can only imagine. I don't have to deal with that. So I send you a ton of good energy, because that must be extremely hard. Really. I really mean that. So a way that you can cope with them, if you absolutely have to be with them, is to almost become like, almost like a mute. Like, you don't say much, you don't react to really anything, and you just kind of go along. Like, yeah, okay. Just smile and agree and go about your way and do anything that you can legally, just exactly right, but just don't engage with them. You don't have to talk outside of what you have to talk with about your kid, right? And you just don't engage. Now, the scary thing is, if you're married to a person like this and you're with them forever, you just become a doormat, because the only way for them to not completely abuse you is by just kind of going along with whatever. Just kind of doing whatever they want all the time. Just being really agreeable and not putting up a fight or argument. Never standing up for yourself. Don't ever stand up for yourself. Don't ever correct them on a lie or anything like that. Now, that is not healthy, but sometimes it is necessary, and so then it is healthy. So really, I advise, if you can, to just get out, if you can. Otherwise, it can begin to change you in that way. The other way it can change you is that you can become the narcissist. You could, because you can become a person that begins to mirror them. Because you just, now it's like that's the only way it works. And sometimes narcissists really like other narcissists. Some of these men that I've dated, have said that they love mean women. They love it. And now that I look back, I go, oh, I get now why you love mean women, because maybe you did, either they were a narcissist too, or maybe you didn't feel bad about how terrible you were treating them or how terrible you were being. It doesn't feel bad when you're with somebody who's so rude. It feels bad when you're with somebody nice. Maybe. Actually, for a narcissist, they don't really care because they want to suck that out of you. That's what's scary about them. Again, now I'll give Cluster B Milkshake some props here, because she says she likes dating other narcissists. So that's good. If all the narcissists could just date each other, that'd be great. You know, I don't wish them any ill will. I just don't want them attacking me anymore. I don't want them attacking people I love. I don't want them diminishing your gifts and talents, your immune system, your entire light. It's not worth it. That's why I'm talking about this. Narcissists really want to normalize this kind of behavior. And in many aspects, they have. We see it all over social media. People are applauded when they're really rude. I want to bring kindness back, compassion, empathy. You don't have to be a doormat, though, to be empathetic. But kindness, compassion, honesty, these are qualities that we can make more popular again. They've like gone way out. They're like so out of style, but we can become the people who help to make those things really popular again. One way by doing that is just liking, subscribing if you haven't, sharing this video, because energetically that lifts it up. And then the narcissists are like, damn it. So the thing Cluster B Milkshake says is that you can't say that they're the devil and demonic and you're trying to make us like, we're like, la, la, la. Well, look, I actually like that point that she made, because I think the scary thing about narcissists that everyone needs to know is they don't look like that. That's the misconception. If you've never been exposed to somebody like this, take this video as a gift, because now you'll know. You'll be like, wait a minute. I've never experienced this type before, but I'm on to ya. Because they come off very nice, charming, kind. Sometimes, like I said, they're the underdog. Sometimes they're not grandiose at all. They're nerdy. They're, you know, kind of a victim. And that's how they get you, because you feel sorry. The scary thing about narcissists that everyone needs to know is half the time, if not all the time, narcissists don't even know they're doing this. So when they shame you, scold you, defame your character, they honestly think that they have a valid place to do that from. They honestly think you betrayed them. They honestly think you're a terrible person. They honestly think you deserve to be mistreated. And they have every right in the world to do so. And they'll have their flying monkeys and all their supply happy to support them in that. And their hope is that people like me shut the you-know-what up. Because what people like me who are fed up and finally speaking out, because it's infected my acting studio, because a lot of huge bright lights, talent beyond talent, have been squashed and become sick because of abuse like this. I have been squashed and become sick because of abuse like this. I do believe I got cancer in my body. I had melanoma in 2010, and I believe it's because my immune system was so depleted. I've broken out all over my face when I've had great skin. I've lost plenty of nights of sleep, insomnia. So many things can happen as a result of this. It's not good. And in future videos, I'll talk more about some more personal experiences about, you know, how I grew up and how this stuff happens, how it's passed down generation to generation. And I know if you've experienced this, you can probably relate. But some people experience this just first time in a relationship or something, and maybe you've never been abused before. And so it's blindsiding, and that is scary. That's another very scary thing about narcissists everyone needs to know. So if you've never been affected by this, I want you to imagine, maybe you're married and you've had the most beautiful romance of all time, and you can't understand anybody who's ever experienced this, and you almost maybe loudly and maybe secretly judge people who've experienced this, because you're like, what's wrong with them? I've got a beautiful spouse who treats me like a prince or a princess, and I'm so lucky, but I guess that's just because I have the secret to life. So imagine, if this is you, imagine your perfect love story, okay? It went exactly how you wanted, how it did in your life, perfect fairy tale. And then one day, you show up at home and your husband or wife has black eyes. And they look at you as if they've never seen you. And they coldly tell you, I don't feel the same way anymore. What do you mean you don't feel the same way? Maybe just yesterday you had like the most romantic time of your life. You were talking about a trip to Europe. Everything's wonderful. You're married. You've had the most, beautiful romance, and just black. I don't feel this way about you anymore. You're disappointed, aren't you? Sorry, there's nothing I can do. I just don't feel any passion. I think you're a good friend. And then they disappear. Maybe block you, ghost you, leave the house, and that's it. That's it. That's all the closure you get. Maybe 25 years of a marriage. Imagine that. That's the tiniest glimpse into what this is like for somebody who's experienced this. Now that can happen in days, months, weeks, years. But with a narcissist, that happens. And that's scary. It's scary to see somebody who you really love look at you like a stranger. And the very next day, no matter how long you've known each other, no matter how strong your connection, they'll look at you like a stranger. And then maybe the next day you see on social media their new wonderful girlfriend. What? Yeah. I had a friend who was with somebody who definitely had narcissistic traits, and one day she just got this weird, funny feeling. She was never the snoopy kind, and that's another scary thing about narcissists. They love people who are very trusting, like me. Like, I've never snooped. I'm like, oh, cool, you're going out tonight. Like, duh. Like, I've never snooped. I've never given somebody, the third degree or anything like that in a relationship, because I believe in trust and honesty and open communication. The scary thing about narcissists is they will use that. They will use that as their green card to just go wherever they want. So this guy said to my friend, when she confronted him after having, this instinct to look at his phone, because she never had that instinct before, and there was hundreds of girls, and she's like, what is this? And he's like, I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it. Or another scenario could be that they'll yell at you for looking at their phone. It's very scary, is that they are actually so insecure and so scared of being abandoned that no matter how good you are, no matter how wonderful you are, they will abandon. At some point, they will abandon you because they're so scared of being abandoned. So if this is in a workplace, they're going to abandon you by taking the credit for some project that you did. They're going to abandon your trust that way. If you're in a marriage, they're going to emotionally abandon you. They might stay with you, especially if you give the prestige that they need for their work or whatever. They might keep you, but they'll abandon you emotionally. They'll abandon you with other people. They won't stick up for you. So it's very, very scary. They'll punish you. They'll gaslight you. They're extremely mean until you have nothing inside. So this is why I'm talking about it, because it's an epidemic and it is infecting so many good people. So that's why people like me are talking about it. That's why an acting teacher is talking about it, because it's hurting so many good people, so many talented, wonderful, bright lights. And I'm tired of it. Plus, as an acting teacher, it's a huge character trait to study. These guys are such good actors, my God. It's scary how good they are. That's another thing. It's scary. When that mask is on, it is scary how good they are. They can fool the best of the best. Therapists, good people, acting teachers who study behavior for a living. So if you need help with this, if you want to dive into your imagination and find some ways to really work through this in a very healthy, fun way through an acting class, I can help you with that. If you want some private coaching, I can help you with that. If you want to just be on here for free and check out, that's cool too. Just like and subscribe and share and lift up the vibration for all of us, because the scary thing about narcissists is they want us to be quiet. They want us to buckle down and go, oh, I'm sorry, I'll pack up and be nothing. The world will invite you to be no one, but you can decline the invitation. Somebody tell me who wrote that quote, because I love it. And please know that there's nothing you could have done differently. Nothing. They're not changing. So if you're wondering if you just got out of a relationship or something and you're like, maybe if I had just said this, maybe if I had done that, maybe, that's how they get you to self-doubt. You're good enough. The fact that you're trying to do this work and dissect and digest what has happened says that you are doing the work on yourself. There's nothing you could have done to change them. They're not changing. A scorpion is a scorpion. Some people say they're demonic. And look, whatever makes you feel better. I don't like calling people names or anything like that. I don't like it. But sometimes it can be helpful to go, that's a scorpion. It's going to sting me. As beautiful as it is, as handsome as it is, as cool as it is, as entertaining as it is, it's still a scorpion. So sometimes when you've been really emotionally abused, it's healthy and important for you to give it a title, give them a title that isn't this like, they were the love of my life, the most handsome man ever, so charming. No, you got to get that out. So if it's to say that they're evil, if it's to say that they're a scorpion and that helps, do that. You're smart, you're beautiful, you're awesome. Keep going, don't give up. Unless you're the narcissist, then just keep going with other narcissists, okay? Please, just do that. I wish you well. Just stop bashing us. We're good on it. Stay with your own peeps. Most of y'all like mean people anyway. Just stay over there, okay? Feels more passionate to you. Do that. All right. Bye.